Whoa, have you been needing to stay updated with all the latest news, rumors, and that NBA hot tea? And that's fact. You find yourself here, Lockbox CNT, and we got the best third option. Do you have a contender? Today we will be reacting to who is the best third option. Do you have a contender on your team? If they're not mentioned in this video, drop their name in the comments below. Your voice definitely matters here in Lockbox CNT. Without further ado, we got Joel. Let's get it.
A new video. On this video, I want to rank the top 10 third options in the NBA. I saw this morning that I think Shannon Sharp or Stephen A. Smith, they made a take that Austin Reeves is arguably the best third option in the NBA. And I think it is an argument. I think offensively, he is probably the best third option in the NBA. It is a luxury the Lakers have him playing behind
Joel, I see where you're going with this offensively.
Luka Doncic and LeBron James. I was thinking about how I wanted to make this list because did I want to just base it off of this season? So I'm taking into account injuries, or did I want to just base it off the totality of the league and when they are fully healthy? And I did it that way. I thought it was better. I thought it would have made this list more accurate. It probably would have aged better as well down the line. Maybe someone's watching this like a year later. It's like, oh, yeah, this list makes sense. So that's why I wanted to do it like that. Now, before I get into my top 10 list, I want to go through some honorable mentions. DeMar DeRozan did not make the cut. He's averaging 22, 4, and 4. The numbers look great. I just think the fit is kind of weird, whichever team he's on, because he can't space the floor all that well. He can't shoot the three ball. And he's an average defender. So the fit with him as a third option is weird. Next up, Bradley Beal. He's averaging 17, 3, and 4. Bradley Beal is still a good player. Unfortunately,
Hey, Bradley Bill, man, my boy getting paid. That's how I say my boy breaking the
has
bank.
the worst contract in the NBA, and it's gonna might go down as the worst contract in NBA history. It's that bad for what he's providing. He's not providing much, and I think with the Suns, like he's kind of been like a dark hole with them, and a lot of things with the Suns have gone wrong. But Bradley Beal, he still might skill for skill be better than players on this list, but because of his production and his contract, I just kicked him off. And my last honorable mention is Jaden McDaniels. With the way that he's been playing with the Minnesota Timberwolves, it really felt bad leaving him off the list because I wanted to put him on this list. He's averaging 12.7 points per game, 6.1 rebounds, but these numbers aren't an indication of how well he's been playing as of recently. I think since February, he's averaging over 15 points per game. So I think Jaden, with his increased offensive load,
Okay, so do you agree with these honorable mentions?
his increased production, what he brings you defensively, there is a real argument that he is a top 10 third option in the NBA. Without further ado, let's get into the top 10 list. Number 10 is Jalen Suggs. This is one of those guys that got forgotten about because he got hurt this season. But before he got hurt, he was averaging 16 with 3.7 assists per game. The shooting numbers from three dipped for him, but he was still playing all world defense. And we can't forget that just a year ago, he was the third option on a team that made the playoffs. And that team made the playoffs because of their defense, and he's a big part of that defense. We can't forget about that. So I think
Any Jalen Sugg fans in the building, please stand up. Hashtag flight voice. And that's facts.
when we talk about third options, he's a top 10 third option. Next name up at number 9, Miles Turner, averaging 15.5 points per game, 6.4 rebounds. He's shooting 39% from three. When you think about the perfect center that you want on your team, everybody thinks about Miles Turner. That's why he's been in trade room.
Yeah, Miles Turner, he's definitely been a he's definitely handed the Mavs a few losses. The only thing with Miles Turner, he just so stiff. It's like his knees don't work correctly. That makes sense.
Wait a minute. Since I can remember, everybody wants a center that can space the floor like he can space the floor and offer a semblance of rim protection, which is what he can do. He's not the defender that he used to be, but he's still a good defender. I think he's well above average, and he can shoot the three.
And that's facts.
Perfect modern center that you want on your team. Not the very best rebounder, but he does play away from the basket. But still, he's number 9. Number 8, Mikal Bridges. You can go Mikal, you can go OG, you can go Josh Hart. I can listen to all of them. Josh Hart is kind of like a do-it-all Swiss Army knife. He is a two-way guy who's elite defensively, and that's what Mikal should have been, but he hasn't been this year. But Mikal is the third scoring option on his team, and since Brunson...
Okay, do you think the Knicks gave up too much? 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges? I said the boys gave up the Cinco.
Hey, yeah. Has been out. He's averaging 24 points per game, and he's been the clear-cut second option, which means he is the third option. Offensively, he's the third option. That's what he was brought to this team to be. He's averaging 17.7 points per game, and outside of that, doesn't really bring much. 3.2 rebounds, 3.5 assists. He needs to be involved in the offense more for the trade not to look terrible. But I think as of recently, without Brunson, he's been involved more, and we're kind of seeing what he can be if he does get that type of volume. Number 7 is Norman Powell. And this could have been Norman Powell or Ivica Zubac. It could be either or. Norman Powell, I had here because he's has the ball in his hands more. He's averaging 23 points per game, and he's shooting 42% from three. When you talk about a
And then when it comes to Norman Powell, I did a video about Kawhi Leonard, and it has a section about Norman Powell and how Kawhi Leonard has affected his game and the fact that has elevated his game.
bucket getter, that's what Norman Powell is. And his career is a great story. I mean, coming from being on a bench, being a six man, to now taking Paul George's role in the offense and putting up 23 a night. You got to give a round of applause for this dude. He's been amazing. Number 6, Aaron Gordon. This could have been Michael Porter Jr. He's averaging more points than Gordon. But when I think of all around play, Gordon averaging 13.8 points per game, 4.8 rebounds, 3 assists, what he brings defensively, I think Aaron Gordon is the third most
And not to mention, last I checked, Aaron Gordon was shooting the best percentage from three for the Nuggets.
important player on the Nuggets. And this is kind of how I based it on. Who is the most important players on the team? I think Jokic is 1, Jamal Murray is 2, and between MPJ and Aaron Gordon, I think Aaron Gordon might be a tad bit more important. And I'm thinking about the finals run, and he was more important than him. So that's why he's the third option for me, and he lands at number 6. Number 5
In the
is
dunker
Desmond Bane,
spot.
clearly behind John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. Desmond Bane's averaging 19 points per game, 6.3 rebounds, 5.5 assists. He can do it all. He's a good defender. He's a sniper, a marksman from 3. Desmond, one of the best scorers as a third option. Number 4.
Before we go on, Desmond Bane is somebody the Dallas Mavericks should definitely consider picking up with Kyrie going down, and he'll be somebody that you could definitely slot at the 2 guard.
We're taking into account two-way ability, and this is why Austin Reeves is number 4 to me. He's averaging 19.6, close to 20 points per game, and around 6 assists per game. Austin Reeves, like I said, if we're talking offensively, shot creation, playmaking, Austin Reeves is the best offensive third option in the NBA. But when taking into account two-way play, that's where he drops
Bold
off a bit,
statement.
because these players that I have over him are clearly better defenders. But Austin Reeves lands at number 4. He lands in the top 5. Number 3, Derek White. This could have been Kristaps Porzingis. Derek White, Porzingis, who I think is more important to the
Low key, Derek White gets slipped on so much.
Celtics. I think it is Derek White. Last year, they won a championship without Porzingis pretty much. And Derek White in the first round was otherworldly. I do know Porzingis is one of the 3
No, they needed Porzingis in the finals. I tell you that. If they didn't have Porzingis in the finals,
best players, talent for talent on that team. But Derek White, he's averaging 16.7 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, 4.4 assists, and he plays elite on defense. On the perimeter, he offers something as a shot blocker. He offers rim protection as a guard. Derek White, to me, is a top 3 third option in the NBA. Porzingis could be here as well. Number 2 is Jalen Williams, 21 a night, 5.5 rebounds, 5.3 assists, 21, 5 and 5. Not many players are doing that, and he's been elite defensively this year. Like I expected a bigger leap.
I'm my boy out here looking like the auntie.
And that's facts.
Beg your pardon.
Offensively with J-Dub, the lineups when he is the lone ball handler in the lineups, they aren't very good. He's not really able to hold them afloat. But on defense this year, who's had more roles than J-Dub? There was a point in time where J-Dub had to play center when they were waiting for Hartenstein to come back, and Chet got hurt. And J-Dub was one of the best defenders at the 5 position in the league. He's an excellent perimeter defender. I mean, J-Dub is an all-around great defender, and he's giving you 21, 5 and 5 a night. I don't think that can be overlooked. I think he's the second best third option in the NBA. And number 1 to me is Evan Mobley. 18.6 points per game, almost 19, 9.3 rebounds, 3.1 assists. He's shooting the 3 ball well. He's attacking off the dribble. He's able to punish bad closeouts. He's able to use his size and score around the basket. He has a good amount of post moves, and he is one of the best defenders on the planet, if not the best defender right now as we stand, because Wemby is hurt, and he might win Defensive Player of the Year. Evan Mobley is the best third option in the NBA, and you can argue he's been so good as third option. You can argue he has been the second best part on the Cavs. Like between him and Garland, I know Garland has the ball in his hands more. Mitchell clearly has the ball in his hands more. So those are the top 2 in their hands. So Mobley is that third guy technically, but you can argue Mobley has been the most impactful Cavalier this season on a team that's on pace to win 65 plus games. So Evan Mobley to me is the best third option in the NBA. And I know he doesn't have the offense as flashy as some of these guys, but it doesn't matter. You watch him play, his game has improved in a massive way. And if he wasn't playing behind two dudes who have the ball in their hands so much and score the ball, two clear 20-point per game scores, Evan Mobley might be averaging 23 to 25 a night if he had his own team. It does help that he's playing with two other great players. Obviously, it does help. But I also think that people underrate just how better he's gotten because it doesn't fully show in the point per game numbers. But those are my top 10 third options in the NBA. Jalen Suggs at 10, Miles Turner at 9, Mikal Bridges at 8, Norman Powell at 7, Aaron Gordon at 6, Desmond Bane at 5, Austin Reeves at 4, Derek White at 3, Jalen Williams at 2, and Evan Mobley at 1.
All right, family. And if you're not family, cousin. And that's facts.
You're gonna learn today.
Do you agree with these top 10 third options? Drop it in the comments. And if you have a contender that was not on the list, put it in the comments. And I'm pretty sure it's some people you'll move around. Also, drop your list in the comments below because I want to know. We'll talk about it. Any questions that you have for me, drop your comments and your list in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, make sure you tap in so you could be back in for all the latest news, rumors, NBA buzz, and that straight high five. And that's facts.